So now to the scenes themselves. And firstly, I'm just going to customize session view a little bit. I'm happy with the levels for now. Of course, I'll need to change them later on as we get towards mixdown. But I'm just going to hide the mixer and also just hide clip view just by dragging this main line down. There we go. So now we've got a nice open space in session view, all these empty clip slots, all these empty scenes in which to fill. Now I'm going to be using the create and then capture and insert scene function, or Shift Apple I if you want to use the shortcut. Okay, so for scene 1, I just want to essentially start the drums and introduce the bass. So I'm going to turn off the operator. I'm also going to turn off the hi-hats. Of course, just hitting one of the empty clip slots underneath each track will turn off the relevant clip. Okay, so this is going to be my first scene, just the drums and the bass. And because this bass element is a little bit more stripped down, it's a good one to start with, just to introduce the feel of the bass, introduce the main theme. Okay, so now I'm happy with those clips. With the green playlight icon on each clip, those clips are now active, they're playing. As soon as I hit play on the transport bar, they play. But if I hit stop, they're still live. They're still playing in essence. The clips are still active. What I need to do now is put them into a scene. So I select an empty scene, in this case scene 5, create, capture and insert scene. And the scene will actually drop in underneath the scene that I clicked on. It's also given it a number 21. And that's simply because the last scene that I had open and empty was scene 20. The numbers don't really matter. We're going to change these scene names later on too. Okay, so that's my first scene. Let's create the second one now. So just going to go and change things around. I'm going to add the hats now. And I'm going to put in the cymbal. Okay, so again, the scene 21, in this case, we want the next scene to drop in underneath that. So create, there we go, and that scene is now ready. Now to play those scenes, of course, I just hit the little play icon on each scene. Now a good tip here, when you're working through these scenes and building them, on the global quantization menu, think about how long you want each scene to play for. Now these bass clips, it's a 4-bar part. So I'm actually going to change the global quantization menu to 4 bars. So that as I play each scene, the whole scene will play, the whole of the bass element will play. And if I fire this scene off now, Live will wait until the end of the 4th bar before firing off scene 22. And the track will always stay in sync in terms of A couple of quick tips for building a scenes arrangement quite quickly. Let's say I wanted to repeat scene 21, but then make a subtle variation to it, add something to it. I don't need to select all those clips from the top again. All I need to do is duplicate scene 21. So click on scene 21 and then just Command D or Apple D, and that will copy it down. Now I can go in and take things out. Maybe this kick, for instance. Maybe we could add in a siren effect. In fact, what I wanted to do is actually duplicate that or copy it. So I can either duplicate it and then drag it down like so, or if I hit undo, I can just click down and press Alt and actually copy the clip down. So there's a few different ways to work. I duplicated it there. So a couple of different ways to work to quickly build up I've just spent the last 15-20 minutes since the last portion of the video putting these scenes together, and I've built up a bit of an idea for this track now based on the elements that I've got. Now, of course, things will change. Once we lay this down into Arrange View, chances are I'm going to go in and edit quite big chunks of it. But for now, I kind of like the shape of it. I've put here as well in this scene, this particular scene, just the word intro. And of course, you can change all the scene names just by hitting Apple R or Command R to change the names. Now, personally, I don't really feel the need to go in and change the names of all these scenes. Some people like to work like that, so you could have first section, second section, breakdown, bridge, whatever. At this stage, though, I think it's too early to get into that. The chances are, again, I'm going to edit this when we get into Arrange View. It's really a case of getting the bare basics down, the skeleton framework of your arrangement down. Okay, so here on the intro section, I'm just introducing the drums. We've got this siren element that plays at the beginning of most of the sections here, just to introduce them. We've got the ride and the cymbal alternating throughout the track, and I've got my different bass parts, the main bass, the bass bend high, and then the sign only clip playing when the change comes in, just to shift the attention off the wobbly bass and onto the change element. Okay, the drums are pretty constant throughout. I take out the hats occasionally, bring in the bongos occasionally, especially when the change kicks in, just to shift the energy a little bit on the percussion. So now what I need to do, just before I hit record, is stop all clips. At the moment, this scene here, this intro scene is active, so I'm just going to hit stop clips, and that will stop everything. Now, I just need to record and play. And now I can just fire off the first scene, and all these scenes will play in 4-bar stretches. Just going to let this run. Introduce the bass. Okay, now to this next scene, scene at 11. The change section's coming to an end now. We're in a little breakdown. And now we're going to start returning. Back to the main theme of the track. I'm going to mute the hats as well. Okay, bring the bass back in. Bring the beats back in. We're out of the change section now, into the final section of the track. In this section, we're moving from low operator to high operator. Also from the ride to the cymbal. Okay, now we've lost the bongos, and we've switched back to the rides. And we're coming towards the end of my basic arrangement now. Just switching over to the sign only bass. So let's have a look at what we recorded. I'm just going to switch over to Arrange View just by hitting Tab. And let's hide this clip view here and zoom out. And there's my arrangement. At the moment, it's just under 4 minutes long. And it's got a basic shape to it already in terms of moving from section to section. Now really the challenge is to go in and edit this arrangement, clean it up, move things around that might need moving, and maybe add things where there's space.